Good day, sir. We are Group 1 and we are going to discuss the Unit 1 entitled Advanced Software and Design Development. I am the first presenter and my topic is all about software engineering and thesis development. Software engineering and thesis development, it explained that software engineering is a popular thesis topic because of the technology, significance in human life. The first involves developing and involving software using scientific principles and methodologies. The software engineering thesis topics are engaging and well supported by research, making them valuable for academic work. So, what is the importance of software engineering? Software engineering is crucial because user requirements and environment conditions frequently change. It is essential for handling large software projects, ensuring scalability, reducing costs, and managing the dynamic nature of software. Additionally, it contributes to better quality management. It is also suggests that research and thesis work can help deepen understanding of software engineering significance. Software Development Lifecycle or SDLC. The Software Development Lifecycle or SDLC is the process of creating software step by step. The step 1 is planning and analysis, understanding what the software needs to do. Step 2, feasibility study, check if the project is possible. Step 3, design, creates a plan for how the software will work. Step 4, coding, write the actual program. Step 6, testing, make sure everything works correctly. Step 7, deployment, release the software for people to use. And step 8, maintenance, fix issues and update the software over time. This process helps build software efficiently and ensuring quality. Agile methodology. Agile methodology, which is a flexible and collaborative approach to software development. It highlights 4 main agile methods. The first one is Scrum. Scrum uses short, repeated work cycles or iterations to complete projects step by step, improving teamwork and progress tracking. Method 2, Lean, focuses on reducing waste, delivering value to customers, and optimizing workflow for efficiency, quality, and speed. The third one, Kanban, emphasizes continuous improvement, flexibility, and visualizing tasks to enhance workflow, management, and transparency. And the last one is Extreme Programming or XP, designed for rapidly changing software needs, improving responsiveness to new requirements. These methods help teams work efficiently and adapt to changes quickly. Types of software maintenance. The types of software maintenance is the first one, adaptive software. Adaptive maintenance, this involving updating software to stay compatible with changes in the environment like new operating system, hardware, or regulations. It ensures that the software continues to work properly as technology evolves. The second one is perfective software. Perfective maintenance, this focuses on improving the software by adding new features, enhancing performance, and optimizing usability to meet changing user needs and market trends. The third one is preventive maintenance or preventive software. This involves making proactive changes to improve stability and prevent future issues. It includes optimizing code and updating documentation to ensure long-term efficiency and reliability. And the last one is corrective software maintenance. This focuses on fixing bugs and errors that cause malfunctions. It ensures the software works properly by addressing issues from bug reports to proactive testing. This is Jacqueline Panagsagan, the first presenter. Good day, sir. This is the continuation of software engineering in thesis development, and my topic is all about the design pattern and software architecture. And I am going to discuss the understanding software architecture. Understanding software architecture, it includes the system's components, their interactions, and the guiding principles for their designs and evolutions. These are standard solutions to recurring designs problem within the architectures. They provide best practices for solving common software development and challenges. For the software architectures, defines the core structures of a software system. It includes components, their interactions, and the environment in which they operate. It acts as a blueprint for the system, ensuring that all elements work together efficiently, and also it aims to improve performance, fault tolerance, scalability, and dependability. The next is design patterns. Design pattern is reusable solutions to common software problems. Help in building flexible, scalable, and maintainable software. It is more localized than architectural patterns. It improves code reusability, readability, and maintainability. For the common software architectures, it is a models that acts blueprints for building software. It designs pattern help solve common problems within these architectures. We have the different types of architectures include layered architecture, event-driven architecture, microservices architecture, client-server architectures, and last is microkernel architectures. And also, we have a common software architecture model. It is a form of a simple explanation of each model, like event-driven architecture, microservice architecture, layered architectures, client-server architectures, and last is microkernel architectures. For the introduction to software designs pattern with creational, structural, behavioral, it focuses on how objects are created to make the code more flexible and efficient. It is deal with how objects and components are organized to improve flexibility and efficiency on how objects interact and communicate to improve efficiency. For the creational design patterns, it is focused on how objects are created while hiding the complexities of object creations. For the structural design pattern, focus on how objects and classes are organized to build larger. For the last behavioral design pattern, it focuses on how objects communicate and interact to ensure smooth collaboration. For the singleton pattern, it is used for a centralized control system that manage all machine parameters, ensuring that every machine reads the same configuration without duplicating idea. And that is the example of singleton code. And I am Myrel Herman, the second presenter.
Good day, sir. My name is James Bokmar de la Serna. I'm going to talk about or report about embedded software development or robotics project. Now we're going to talk about microservices and monolithic architecture. What are their differences? The definition of microservices collections of loosely coupled independent services. It means each service is self-contained, implementing a single business capability within a bounded context, and is often owned by a small, self-contained team. Microservices are loosely coupled, allowing them to develop, deploy, and scale independently. And the other is a monolithic architecture, single unified model with one code base. It means it's a unified model where a software program is designed as a single, self-contained unit, and all components are tightly coupled, requiring all associated components to be present for the code to execute. Changes to the application often require recompiling and retesting in the entire system. The structures of microservices. Each service has its own business logic and database. The monolithics, all components are tightly coupled and run as single services. The team structure works by small or independent teams. The monolithics developed is typically handled by larger teams. The scaling is independent scaling services to meet demands. The deployment services can be deployed independent support. Rather the monolithic requires updating the entire stack. Small change requires redeployment of the entire monolith. The technology of microservices have freedom to choose the best tool for each service. The monolithic changes in frameworks or language affects the entire application. The fault isolation, microservices of one services does not disrupt the entire application. Monolithic is error in any module can affect the entire application availability. The complexity introduce complexity due to distributed nature. The monolithic is simpler to develop initially. We're going to talk about embedded system in robotics. Embedded system in robotics control movement, sensing, and decision making. They enable human-robot interaction through speech and gesture recognition, and the process sensory data for autonomous navigation. This system handled obstacle avoidance, motion control, and precise manipulator movements. Software-hardware integration. Embedded system developed involves the creation and integration of both software and hardware components. The software directs the hardware on how to process data to execute tasks. Effective hardware integration is crucial for creating dependable and efficient embedded system. Importance of hardware and software integration. Embedded software developed necessitates close to coordination with hardware components like microcontrollers and sensors. The process of the system integration starts by analyzing the hardware device and embedded software development system to define plan. Challenges in integration. Integrating hardware and software can be intricate, demanding a comprehensive knowledge of both fields. Debugging can be difficult because there is little insight into system internal state, especially tools are needed. User requirements can be vary, which adds to the difficulties of development embedded system, software and hardware. Best practices for streamlining integration. To streamline embedded software development, strategies such as automation, prototyping, and cautious optimization can be used. It is also important to define product specification and structural architecture. Reviewing project requirements and reusing components when possible are also helpful. I have an example of microservices in IoT. Scenario: a smart weather station with multiple services. We search a code by Python. This is the code of smart weather station with multiple services. This one is a one service, collect temperature data. The code is Python. And another logs to the database. This is the code of logs data to a database. And the other one is display it on a dashboard. This is the code to display it on the dashboard. And that's all. And I'm Vince Bokmar de la Serna, your third presenter.
Good day, sir. I am Lawrence Itar, and I will report about software development frameworks and version control. Collaborative software development emphasizes teamwork and shared responsibility, incorporating practices such as pair programming, code reviews, and version control to ensure developers work effectively together. Collaborative software development concepts. Collaborative software development combines technical expertise and problem-solving capabilities to deliver high-quality code. It cultivates knowledge sharing, allowing team members to learn from each other, and uses continuous feedback loops to reduce errors and improve code quality. Project management and team collaboration software like ClickUp can manage workloads and increase collaboration by providing centralized spaces and customizable templates. Real-time collaboration tools such as whiteboards and mind maps can also help brainstorm and visualize product UIs. Next. Version control and collaborative development. Version control system or VCS like Git, Subversion, and Mercurial management code changes over time, enhancing productivity through parallel development, branching, and merging. VCS promote code quality via reviews, enable release management, continuous integration, collaboration, and provide detailed changes histories. So VCS or version control system is a software tool that helps manage changes to code, documents, or other digital content over time. Git version control. Git is a distributed version control system that allows developers to manage code and collaborate efficiently. Its branching capabilities enable flexible workflows, improving team productivity, facilitating code reviews, and enhancing software quality through efficient change tracking. So the difference between VCS and Git version control. Git is decentralized, while VCS can be either centralized or distributed. Git is designed for large projects, while some VCS are better suited for small projects. In short, all Git is a VCS, but not all VCS are Git. Think of it like a library. Centralized is like a single library where everyone goes to access books, and decentralized is like a single, each person having their own copy of all books. GitHub and GitLab for collaborative CI or CD. GitHub Actions and GitLab CI or CD automate builds, testing, and deployment, streamlining software development with continuous integration and delivery. They provide quick feedback, enhance productivity, integrate security checks, and ensure compliance through automated workflows and auditing capabilities. GitHub and GitLab are platforms that enable collaborative on software development projects by allowing multiple users to contribute, track changes, and manage code repositories. Agile methodologies and collaboration. Agile methodologies prioritize collaboration, transparency, and adaptability through iterative sprints. Frameworks like Scrum and Kanban enhance communication, decision-making, and team trust. While platforms like GitLab improve project management, boosting morale, and delivering high-quality outputs. Agile methodologies facilitate collaboration by emphasizing teamwork, continuous integration, and iterative progress, enabling teams to work together effectively and deliver high-quality results. Agile methodologies like Scrum and Kanban offer iterative approaches to project management, emphasizing adaptability and collaboration, making them suitable for thesis projects. These frameworks facilitate managing complex projects with involving requirements, breaking down tasks into manageable increments. Agile methodologies for thesis project management. Agile methodologies emphasizes iterative development, customer feedback, and collaboration to efficiently deliver products and services. The Agile approach empowers teams to work faster and more flexible, ensuring tasks are completed on time and within budget. Agile's origins trace back to 2001 with the creation of the Agile Manifesto by software developers addressing software industry challenges. The core principles include customer satisfaction through continuous delivery, embracing change, frequent delivery, collaboration, and motivated stakeholders. Scrum for thesis projects. Scrum is a lightweight framework adaptable for iterative projects, known for being straightforward, sustainable, and flexible in Scrum. The product owner manages project requirements. The Scrum Master guides the team, and the Scrum team focuses on targets. Scrum can be applied to research projects to improve productivity, enhance knowledge sharing, and increase engagement. Applying Scrum to manage master thesis can increase the probability of successful completion. Using Scrum in a PhD can be helpful through short sprints and task visualization. Scrum for thesis projects is a structured approach that helps you manage your research, set achievable goals, and work iteratively with regular feedback from your advisor. While Kanban for thesis projects is a visual workflow management system that helps you track and manage your research tasks, prioritize work, and make steady progress towards completing your thesis.
And that's all. Thank you. And I am the last reporter.